What is up, y'all? It is your boy Weeb here, and I have an absolute banger video for y'all today. I've had people asking me why my game looks so much better than theirs and how they can optimize their FPS in order to get the best possible performance out of their GPU. So I figured I'd make this video and help you guys out. Do me a solid, if this video helps you, please hit that like and that subscribe button down below. We are this close to 1,500 subs. So freaking excited, guys. Enjoy the video. Let's get right into it. Alright, guys. So to start out with, we're going to go into our search bar, type in game mode. Turn on, make sure game mode is enabled, then you hit graphics, change default graphics settings, and make sure hardware accelerated GPU scheduling is turned off. This is a phenomenal setting for other games, but Warzone with its phenomenal optimization actually breaks this setting, and you end up getting lower FPS as a result. We're here chasing frames, so make sure it's turned off. The other way you can get here is to hit your start menu, settings, display, scroll down to graphics, change default, and boom. Gaming, game mode, and boom. Good to go. Next, we're going to open up our Nvidia control panel down here. And where it's configure surround PhysX, make sure your GPU is selected over here. Go up to advanced image settings of preview. Use the advanced 3D image settings. Hit take me there. And for this step, you're just going to copy these settings. I'm going to scroll through real quick. Just pause this video. Go ahead and copy what I have here, and I will go over the more important settings for you real quick. We don't want any ambient occlusion or anisotropic or any aliasing selected other than gamma correction right here. Obviously, you want your background application max frame rate turned off. What that does is it limits the frame rates of programs in the background, so if you alt tab out, it could crash your game, or it could drop your frames below what you want and make gameplay unideal, or especially if you're streaming. Tab out, say you've got it on like 10 20 FPS is a limit. I don't know what the max here is. Yeah, say you've got it on 20 as a minimum. You tab out, now your stream is seeing your game in 20 FPS. You don't want that. So Q to GPUs all, and make sure your GPU is selected. Low latency mode here is especially important if you're in a CPU bound case. What I mean by that is you have a more powerful GPU than a CPU. This helps your CPU schedule the amount of frames that it's able to prepare before being processed by the GPU. So if you're in a CPU bound case like that, where your CPU is lower quality than your GPU, you want to turn this on. Personally, I get the best performance on Ultra. You can run it on just regular on, see how that works for you, but I get the best performance out of Ultra. And I generally pull 220 to 250 FPS playing multiplayer on Modern Warfare 2. 300 prior to Season 4 Reloaded most maps. But Season 4 Reloaded is kind of messed up all of us. So we're still getting good frames, just not what we used to. Max frame rate, you want that off. Multi-frame off. OpenGL, GDI, you want that on performance. OpenGL rendering GPU, you want to make sure your GPU is selected. Power management mode, obviously we want maximum performance. Refresh rate, highest available. Shader cache size. If you are conscientious about space, say your unlimited hard drive space, go ahead and select 10. But if you're not worried about space like I am, then just run 100 gigabytes. Trust me, it will help you out, because that is the amount of shaders that you can cache for your game before your game has to like start loading and buffering new shaders on every start. That helps you out with loading maps, because once you've played through it once, those shaders are cached, you're good to go. Texture filtering, anisotropic, on, negative LOD bias, allow, quality, high performance, on, auto. And then the virtual reality pre-rendered frames, you want that set to 1. Then you're going to go ahead and hit apply. Go down here to change resolution. Make sure you are on your PC's native resolution. Not one of these Ultra HD, SD, Super HD, none of those. Make sure you are on PC, and it should have native beside it. Now make sure your monitor's refresh rate selected here. Mine's 240, so that's what I have. And then you want to change your color settings to use Nvidia color settings. You want the highest 32-bit RGB output. Full versus limited. Limited is darker colors. Full gives you a brighter, better look. I highly recommend doing that. It just makes your game look better. And if you have the option, newer monitors will have this, set your color depth to 10 BPC. If you're on an older monitor, you may be stuck on 8, but if you have the option, I recommend setting 10. Now you're going to hit apply. We want to go down here to adjust desktop size and position. Make sure no scaling is on. I have it set for all my monitors, but you want it, especially on your gaming monitor, no scaling. And make sure your resolutions match and your refresh rate match what we did in change resolution tab. Now we're going to go to adjust desktop color settings, and you want to make sure that you copy these settings. They're super good for FPS games. They make your game look amazing. You can see people better, and the colors pop. Drop your brightness down to 45, contrast to 55, gamma 1.15 to 1.2. And digital vibrance anywhere from 60 to 80. The digital vibrance part is all personal preference. I find I get the best color pop that's not too much at 75, but you can also run it as low as 60. Me personally, on Call of Duty, 75 is amazing. It makes my game look outstanding. I know you guys have seen it. I know you guys love it. So that is what I would recommend to you. But it can depend on your monitor as well as your own vision. So test it for yourself, see what you like best. Just kind of run that slider while you're playing the game and keep clicking apply until you find one that a digital vibrance percentage that works for you. Let's see, now we're going to close out of this, and we're going to download the Nvidia Profile Inspector. I will have all three of these in a Google Drive doc link in the description. So you're welcome to download these there. But I am going to go ahead and show you guys how to get there as well. NVIDIAProfileInspector.com. Then you just find Profile Inspector 2.3.0.13 and click that download. And then show in folder, extract all, extract it, and then boom. You want to open it, and you're going to give it administrator privileges right there. Make sure all G-Sync, async, any whatever the other version of this is turned off. Make sure fixed refresh rate is selected here. And then make sure that these settings just kind of match what you did in the control panel. But what we really want to get to is we want to go down here to common. Make sure this CUDA Force P2 state is disabled right here. We want to make sure this is off. What this is a GPU power saving state that we don't want running while we are playing games. So make sure that this is turned off. Make sure power management mode's on maximum, and we want as long as we have these selected, then we're good to go. So what you're going to do is you're going to click apply here and X out of this. And then let me go ahead and get you guys to do this as well. You can copy this. I'll have it in the description below. You can Google it. What it is a power plan that is already on your Windows, but it's not enabled by default. What you have to do is, whoops, smack my mic there. Search command prompt or CMD. Hit run as administrator. Run this, and then copy and paste this text here, and hit enter. And what it will do is it will install that power plan. I already have that power plan, and I don't want it duplicated, because if I do it again, then it will just install a second version of that power plan. So I'm just going to click X here. But then we're going to go down here, edit power plan, hit power options, make sure ultimate performance, the new power plan that you have, is selected. Hit change plan settings, change advanced power settings. Make sure turn off hard disk is set to 0. PCI Express, make sure link power state management saver is off. And then processor power management. You're going to make sure both of these are set at 100. And then you're going to click apply and click OK. Obviously, never and whatever you want your display to turn off at, you can have those selected as well. But then at that point, you can X out of that. Now we are going to open up our game config. Close this. So for that, we're going to go to where our documents folder is. Go to Call of Duty, players, options 3 cod22.cst. We want to open that. And we're going to immediately search clutter. This is your clutter draw distance. If you set it to low in game, it sets this to 2500. What you want to do is you want to take this 100 here, copy it, and paste it where that 2500 is. This is going to give you so much more FPS. You're not going to notice any artifacting, I promise you. I've run this setting for months now across multiple seasons, and I have not noticed any craziness at distance. This is just like your trees, your bushes, your things like that. So when you say you have a sniper, you zoom in on a guy that's 150 meters away, you may not see foliage that's around the guy. Things like that. It's not going to break your game. It's not going to hurt your game. It's not cheating. It literally, like, you're getting better FPS because you're not rendering as much of the textures at distance. That's all it is. All right, so next we're going to search worker. We're going to go down here to thread count for handling job queue, render a worker count. This is the number of CPU cores on your CPU. Now, to find this out, you need Control-Alt-Delete, open your task manager. I have mine pinned to my taskbar. Hit the performance tab, and then where it says CPU, click that. And you're going to see something here that says cores. I'm running an AMD Ryzen 9, so I have 16 cores. Since I'm on a Ryzen CPU, then I'm going to set this number to 1 under the total amount of cores that I have, so 15. If you're on an Intel CPU, then you want this to be half of your cores. So if that number says 10, or if that number says 24, then you want it to be 5 or 12 respectively. Now for Intel, I believe that the term for the amount of cores you have is called your logical cores. It should say something like logical cores here, and then that is your actual physical cores on your CPU. The last setting we're going to change here, search water caustic and select water caustic's mode. There's off, low quality, and high quality. You want to copy high quality here, and you want to put that right there, and then hit save, and you're good. Alright, so now we're going to go straight into our game settings here. We're going to go into graphics, and if you want the most FPS and you say you're not a streamer, you can do full screen exclusive. Me, I'm a multitasker. I'm dead. I'm in gulag. I'm waiting to be brought back. A lot of times I alt tab out. I'm playing Resurgence. I'm waiting on my respawn timer. I'll alt tab out. I don't want to deal with that black screen, especially the 10 seconds of nothing that comes with it. So I do borderless. The FPS hit is very minimal, and I just prefer it because, again, I'm a multitasker, and I like to alt tab out a lot. Make sure your monitor is selected here. If you are on full screen exclusive, then you select your refresh rate and your display resolution. Full screen borderless, don't have to worry about that. Obviously, GPU selected. Dynamic is off. Automatic, off. Custom frame rate limit, I set mine to 300. If you're not a streamer, then you can set out of focus to 30 and menu to 60. I like for all of my frames to be somewhat the same when I game, and since I'm always between 120 and 300, then I like to keep menu and out of focus on 120, so that when I alt tab out, or when I'm back at the menu, my frames aren't dropping from 250, 275 down to 60 or 30. It just makes my stream look better, and so I keep these on 120. If you're on a lower end card, then 60, 60, 60, 30, something like that. Or if you're not a streamer, 60, 30. That's 60 is more than enough for the menu, and 30 is more than enough for out of focus. I just don't like the frame drops when I'm streaming. That's all. Because I have HDR on. This is how my game looks. If you stream to Twitch or Kick, unfortunately, you don't have this option. If you're not a streamer, then you can play in HDR if your GPU and monitor support it. If you do, this is the brightness setting that I found to be the best for me. Calibration, right here. If you don't have HDR and you're playing SDR, then open your brightness settings and bump that brightness up to 55. It should be 50 by default, bump it up to 55. Now, render resolutions, obviously 100. Upscale sharpenings, Fidelity FX Cast, 100. Anti-aliasing is Filmic SMA T2X. Ultra quality on the quality for that. Video memory scale is 90. Now our texture resolution is going to be normal. Filter texture anisotropic is high. Nearby level of detail low. Distant level of detail low. Your clutter draw distance, there will be nothing here. That's because we changed it in the config file, and we are now lower than low. Particle quality and level are both low. Bullet impacts and persistent damage layers, these cause like a 1 to 2% hit to your FPS. You can turn them off. I feel like the game doesn't look right without them, so I keep them on. Plus, I like to see the persistent damage layers whenever I'm testing recoil in the firing range. So I personally, I keep it all on. But that's personal preference, totally up to you. It's only like a 1 or 2% FPS hit. It's not bad. So you may as well leave it on. Shader quality, medium. Tessellation's off. On-demand texture streaming, definitely off. You want this off across all platforms because this setting on this game is atrocious and responsible for a solid, large percentage of the crashes that PC players have experienced since game launched. Streaming quality low, volumetric quality low, deferred physics quality is off. Water quality, make sure this is set to water caustics. This is very important because water caustic quality is what we set in that notepad setting. This is going to make it so that when you're looking down into the water, you can see through it clear as day. When you're in the water, you can see through it clear as day. So you can see everybody in the water with you. Yeah, it's going to be just like you're in a swimming pool. You're going to be able to see people that are within distance. You're not going to be able to, see through the water as if the water's not there, but you're going to be able to see people as if they were in your swimming pool in your backyard. So obviously if they're at certain angles to you, say you're here and they are way over here, you may not see them as easily as if they are right here. But if they are right here, you're going to see them clear as day. So trust me, make sure that is selected. Shadow map resolutions low, screen space shadows off, spot shadow quality low, spot cache low, lighting low, ambient occlusion off, screen space reflections off, static reflections low, weather grid is off, and then depth of field and both motion blurs off, film grain 0. I hear a lot of rumors that FOV doesn't or breaks your aim assist at over 109. I don't know of any pros that have stopped running 120 FOV because of that, and I don't know of any pros that have acknowledged that. So I'm gonna go ahead and just say that's a rumor that's come out of the rumor mill based on players that just think they don't have aim assist. So I recommend 120 is my personal preference. FOV is all personal preference. That's just how wide your game is, so that you can see better. I like 120. I recommend you stay on 120. I recommend setting it to 120 and affected. But if you want to try 109, if you think your aim assist is better at 109, by all means. If you like 100 better, or if you just like the default 60, then sure. But 120 is going to give you the best picture and the most view on the entire map. Weapon field of view, you want to set this to wide. Again, this just gives you a little bit better view of the enemy when they're in front of you. Your gun's not taking up 3/4 of your screen right here. Third person field of view only applies to third person game modes. I max my field of view out for everything. And then vehicle field of view, you want to set that to wide. What that does is that makes your vehicle look a little further back, so that again you see more of what's in front of you, and your screen isn't just centered on that vehicle where you can see nothing behind it. First person and third person camera movement, set those both to least 50. That's going to give you better FPS. And then we're going to go straight into the interface tab here. Once you're in the interface tab, hit color customization, filter 2, color filter target both, world color and interface color both 100, and then Tritan Anopia down here for your HUD color palette. This is going to give you the best and most pop-worthy game environment. All your colors are going to be just beautiful. They're going to pop. They're going to look super crisp, especially combined with your Nvidia control panel color settings that we set earlier. So I highly recommend you set these and give it a try. Let me know in the comments down below if it made your game look any better. And then let me show you guys a little secret down here that apparently a lot of the bot community don't know about. Because because I see a lot of people on Facebook Reels, Instagram Reels, TikTok talking about people having aimbot, and you can tell because they have a center dot on their screen. Well, newsflash, you have a center dot. No matter who you are, you go to your interface tab, you scroll down, and in the HUD section, boom, center dot. Turn that on. Hell, I have that bad boy on larger, so I keep it bigger than default. This is amazing for centering. If you're not someone that's been aim training for 10 years, or you don't have a sticker dot in the center of your screen, then you set this, and now you have a visual dot in the center of your screen that you can use for centering. You always know exactly where your character's gun is centered and where you're going to scope in on when you sight in on an enemy. So now you can navigate your screen so that you keep that dot centered where the enemy is going to be, and boom, presto, you have the advantage. Apparently, a lot of people don't know this setting exists and think that this setting is cheating. So here you go. I'm giving you guys free cheats right here in the interface tab. I also have inverted flash on because it saves my eyeballs, especially at night. What this does is it makes your flashbang go black instead of going white. A lot of people freak out because it makes them feel like their game crashed or their monitor's turning off or whatever. If that happens, you'll get noise indicators or other things. So me personally, I run it and I've never freaked out. So personal preference again, but I recommend turning it on because it will save your eyeballs, especially when there's flash spam. Especially if you play DMZ, because I know you guys can, or I guess even Warzone, because you can store a ton of flashbangs. Then we're going to go over here to the audio tab. Make sure you're on home theater, master volume 70. Turn off all music, cinematic, war tracks, gameplay, whatever. You don't want to hear that. You want to hear footsteps. Dialogue volume 50, effects volume 100, voice chat 50. This is going to help you out a ton once I give you this SteelSeries Sonar tutorial real quick, as well as Dolby Access. So make sure that those are selected, and then go down here to reduce tinnitus sound. A lot of people will also tell you to turn off hit marker sound effects, but me personally, I feel like I'm not hitting anybody if I'm not getting the hit marker sound effect, so I don't recommend turning that off. The game just feels and sounds weird. I leave it on. You can try it, see for yourself, but I have to have it on. And what we're going to do is we're just going to tab out, and we're going to go ahead and download Process Lasso. You just want to run this setup right here. English, I agree. Leave default checks, and then click install. I already have it installed, so I'm not going to install it. And then hit finish at the end. And then this little pop-up will come up. This is because we don't have the pro version. If you want to buy the pro version, feel free. But I don't have the pro version, so I just wait, hit continue, and then you get a super advanced looking task manager. Now what we're going to do for this is we're going to go over to our active processes, and you're going to find cod.exe, CPU priority, and you want to hit always and make sure that high is selected. And then you're going to go down here. If you're on a Ryzen CPU, you don't need to do this for Intel, but if you're on Ryzen, go down here to CPU 0 under CPU affinity always, and uncheck that. I don't know why, but every single game you will play just about runs 10 times better on a Ryzen CPU, gets better FPS if you disable CPU 0. I don't know if it's got something to do with the way they have their memory caching or what, but that 0 core impacts your FPS and lowers it. So disable that. You don't want it to be in use. Next, you're going to go down here to IO priority and have it set to high. Next, you want to go into your main menu here. Make sure Pro Balance is enabled. Make sure Performance Mode is enabled. And then go over to Options. Go down to Power. And make sure that Performance Mode, these two right here are checked. Enable Automatic Detection and Disable Idle Saber. You don't want anything else checked right here. And then go to, again, go to Options, Power, and Start Process Lasso with Power Profile Ultimate Performance. As long as you have those options set, you're good. You don't want change power profile when engaged, anything like that turned on, because then that's just more settings you have to go through, like selecting what power profile, when you could just start process Lasso with power profile ultimate and you're good to go. So now I will say again, for any FPS game that you play, Overwatch, Fortnite, etc., you do the same thing. CPU priority always, and go in, make sure you set all of these, and if you're on a Ryzen, always disable CPU 0. But as long as you can do that tweak right there for any FPS game that you play, doesn't matter what it is. I promise you it will help. Next, we're gonna go back into our browser, and you can download SteelSeries GG. Let me show you how this works here. I'll run you through the installer. Let's see. This one I will go ahead and install. That way you guys see how it looks when you configure it. I don't need this window anymore, so I'm going to close this. I'm going to go ahead and close my game as well because I don't need that either. All right. Select English. Next. I agree. And look at that. It's already installing. All right. Click Finish. Now it will start up for the first time. All right. Now we're going to hit Sonar. Okay, since I already had this installed, I guess it's not going to ask me to configure. But what it will do is it will pop up and it will ask you to configure all of your chat devices, which you can also do here in the mixer. My game audio goes to my, I have a Go XLR, so my game audio goes to where I have all of my system audio go, because that's what I use for my primary listening on my headphones. My voice chat goes to my chat output on my Go XLR. My music goes to my music output so that I can listen to Spotify without you guys having to hear it, like I'm doing right now. And then my chat mic over here, I don't actually use this input. I go ahead and I just use straight off my Go XLR because I already have my microphone tuned the way that I like it. But if you guys have a mic and it has no tuning and you want to try some different preset options, then you can go ahead and use this this input and output. So now you go into your game tab here, and you can configure different audio profiles. See, they have Rainbow Six, they have Rainbow Six Siege, they even have Red Dead Redemption down here. League of Legends, Overwatch, Hogwarts Legacy. That's insane. I didn't know that was in there. But you can set your footsteps to COD Warzone 2. Play Warzone 1, you can do that. Modern Warfare 2. And you have different audio profiles for different games. It's absolutely amazing. And if you change your voice settings or your audio settings in game the way I told you to, you're gonna get the best mix, and you're gonna hear footsteps 10 times better. You may still have moments where you're like, bro, I didn't hear that guy, but don't worry, we all get that. That's where the skill-based footstep joke comes from. So don't worry, but you're gonna hear footsteps way better this way. It may not be perfect, but it's the best we got right now. I'm doing the best I can to share with you guys what works for me. You go down here, turn on spatial audio, slide tuning all the way to the left. It should be around the middle. Slide it all the way to the left over to performance, and lower distance from 100 to 25. What this does is it's lowering the simulated speakers. It's bringing them closer to your ears. So in your ears, that audio is going to sound like it's closer. It's going to sound like you're closer to the audio instead of further away from a speaker. It helps a lot. Trust me, you can play with the distance slider. You do want this on performance, but you can play with the distance slider. Find what works best for you. I like 25. I feel like 25 is close enough that I can hear things without it being too close and overmodulated or too far away that I don't hear. You don't need to use the gain volume booster down here. You can if you want, but you don't have to. Chat tab, you have different things. I keep my friends sounding like they're on broadcast. Makes it sound like we're on a news show. My music, I got that deep bass, so you get that bumping in your ear. You know what I'm saying? And then if you want to do your mic, like I said, I don't do my chat mic, but you can go through here and you can select different options on this. Less nasally if you got a nasally voice, so on and so forth. You can try those. All right, so now we're back into our game settings. We're going to go to audio, your speakers, and your game device. You're going to set this to SteelSeries Gaming. That is going to be that game output that we just configured for Warzone. Make sure that is set to stereo. Then we're going to go down to voice chat output, and we're going to set that to whatever our chat device was that, or I'm sorry, SteelSeries Sonar chat. That's going to go to whatever chat device we set up in SteelSeries. And then whatever you're doing for your chat mic, whether that's your mic, your pre-configured mic, your Go XLR mic, your headset mic, or the mic audio coming out of the Sonar. If it's the SteelSeries Sonar microphone, then it's going to be right here. It will say SteelSeries microphone, SteelSeries Sonar microphone right here. So make sure you set that, and then you are good to go there. All right, guys, and one last thing, we are going to Google the MSI Afterburner beta download. You're going to click it, and you're going to scroll down here to the bottom, and you're going to click 4.6.5 stable final. Click that, and then I'm going to show you guys how the installer works. Extract all. We're going to extract it, and then we're going to run it. Now, this is going to install two different things for you. It's going to install MSI Afterburner. Hit accept. Next. Next. If you want Riva Tuner Statistics Server, you can install it. If you don't worry about it. This is only for people who are going to want some kind of overlay to test their graphics card, things like that. If you're going to be doing overclocking, I recommend you download it. But if you're not going to do any kind of overclocking, you just want to use the basic settings I'm going to give you, then go ahead and disable that. So you're going to hit next, and then hit install, and it will install this to your defaults. I'm not going to install it because I already have it. So I'm going to go ahead and open it. And let me drag it over here. Now, you don't want any core or memory clock. You want yours set to 0. Mine is... mine, I run an overclock, and so mine is already set. But you do what I do recommend you do is go in here to your settings and hit unlock voltage control. So we're gonna hit this unlock voltage control, hit apply, okay, and it may restart the program, it may not. And then you're gonna come back in here, and you want this to 0, 0, 0. Raise your power limit and your temp limit all the way up. Hit the settings button again, hit fan. Enable user-defined software automatic fan control. And then you're going to make your own custom fan curve. You want to set this to 40, 30. This one to just shy of 60 and at right even with 50. Your third one is going to be 90 and 70. And then 100% with 90. And then click apply and click OK. And then you want to hit this check mark here, and click right here, click this start up with Windows button. What this will do is this will apply these settings every time you boot. This is going to allow your GPU to use a little more power so that you can get more out of your graphics card. And this is not an overclock. Overclocking would be starting to raise your memory, your core, like I do. This is just simply allowing your GPU to run a little hotter and a little bit more, use a little bit more power so that it can boost a little better and get better speeds. It's not going to hurt it, I promise. If you don't want to run this part, feel free not to, but you will get a little bit better FPS. It will help you out. And if you ever do decide you want to dive into overclocking, then you can watch videos on how to use MSI Afterburner for that. We're not going to go into that because that is way too much for me to teach you guys. So that being, once you've done that, you hit this check mark. You can hit the little floppy disk here, and you can save a profile. Like I'll save it to profile 2. And then once you've hit the check mark, you can hit the minimize button, and it disappears down here to your taskbar. So that is all you need to know for MSI Afterburner for the basics. One last thing. Make sure your fan is on auto. It might be on default, or it might be on manual. It should be defaulted to auto, so you should be good. You shouldn't have to change that. But if it's not, make sure it's on auto. Mine looks a little bit different than yours because I have a different UI selected. Yours will look like, I believe. Okay, no, that is not it. I don't remember what the default is. Oh, I believe it looks like that. But everything is the same. All the buttons should be in the same place. You can change your UI here if you want the one that I run. I run the which one do I run? I run Gaming Z Afterburner by Derek's Design right here. There we go. So that being said, that's all I got to teach you guys on that. All right, y'all, and that is the video. Please let me know in the comments down below if any of these settings work for you. Let me know what kind of FPS gains you got, whether you improved, you had a significant improvement, slight improvement, etc., so on and so forth. As well as what kind of setup you're on, whether it's an AMD CPU with a 3090, 3080, 40 series, etc. Please let me know. That way I know kind of what's working for what and who's getting who's benefiting more from my videos. And that way I can also kind of figure out what settings aren't working if, say, you're on Intel and you're not getting the improvement of a guy on an AMD. That way I can kind of see if I can figure out a way to get you guys better FPS as well, because I'm not on an Intel system, so I just have to go based on feedback from other Intel users running my settings. So please let me know down in the comments what worked for you, what didn't work, and if any of this did work for you, please hit that like, smash that subscribe button, and let's see if we can't get to 1,500 subbies. I am 13 away. I would absolutely love it if we could hit that by my birthday here in the next couple weeks. So that being said, hey, appreciate you guys taking the time to watch this video. Hope you made it all the way to the end, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Peace.